Welcome back to City Scene. We are out and about enjoying a beautiful day in the fall. When it comes to fall's a good time to plant trees, right?
Oh, terrific.
It's an awesome day to plant trees coming up in November. So we've got our city arborist, Kevin Heffern. How are you, sir?
Good to see you, Steve.
Good to see you too.
Great.
You brought me out to the Rotary Club
That's correct.
for Community Tree Day. What gives? Are we planting trees inside the Rotary Club?
No, we are planting trees in the College View area, and the Rotary Club is really one of the focal points of the College View area.
It's the gathering point for Community Tree Day, right?
It is.
Okay, for folks who don't know, never heard of it before, never seen it before, what is Community Tree Day?
Community Tree Day is a day when we get as many volunteers as we can, and we plant as many trees as we can between the hours of 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. This is our 5th event in our 4th year. This year we're planning on planting 250 trees, so we're looking for a couple hundred volunteers this year.
That's a lot of trees. You are going to need a lot of volunteers.
We are.
Now, you're not doing this by yourselves. I understand you got the volunteers, but there's another organization that you always partner with when it comes to trees, and they're very important partners for this in our city, ReLeaf.
ReLeaf is a primary sponsor for this event. They're giving us approximately $12,000 to buy these trees, and helping us organize the event, been involved with the subcommittee meetings and been involved with flagging the trees, and they're getting some food sponsors and beverage sponsors, and really, like they always do, Steve, they always come through and been coming through for the city for 25 years. And
if it weren't for folks like the folks at ReLeaf, you wouldn't be able to do nearly this much.
No, sir. They give us annually $12,000 to $15,000 a year to buy trees and plant in the city. And as I've said numerous times, the city would not look the same without ReLeaf.
We would not be a Tree City USA. It's probably pretty safe to say.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, now I've actually come out to one of these before, and they're kind of neat, but for other folks who haven't had the benefit of coming out and doing this, explain the process. What goes on when people meet, like when they come here to the Rotary Club building? What's going to happen? We're
going to have an exterior tent set up, registration tent. And at that point, we have to get them to sign a waiver for this with the city to be able to plant trees in the right of way. And we give them a training on how to plant trees, but we also break them up into groups. A large project like this, we're anticipating getting 12 groups collated together with one coach per group.
Okay.
They're going to be demarcated with different color scarves, and that group will go out with that coach to the zone that we want them to plant the trees in, and hopefully that takes a couple hours and we get done, and we all come back, and there'll be a little bit of water and granola bar, or a little parting food item to give them, and thanking them for coming.
And you mentioned going out in groups. You need a lot of volunteers. I guess the more volunteers you get, the more fun you can have, but also the faster you get done.
That's true. So we're looking for a couple hundred. So we're looking, if we're going to do 250 trees, we really need to come out with the volunteers this year.
Okay. Now, if I come out and I volunteer, maybe I could bring a group from my neighborhood.
That's true.
I could bring my Boy Scout troop out. You could do pretty much any group you want, right?
Oh, that's true. And the younger participants, like the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, we're going to try to keep the younger children as close to the Rotary Club as possible, so that they don't have to walk as far. But this event is from 1st to 5th and Holly to Elm, so it's quite a big area. But we're going to try to keep the kids as close as we can to the Rotary Club.
That's a pretty good plan. Now, do you actually go ahead, I guess you have an idea of where you want the trees ahead of time, right?
That's true. We have actually walked this neighborhood 3 times. When you consider street curbs, overhead utilities, water meters, sight distance at stop signs, we put a lot of brain thought into seeing or making sure these trees go in the right place with the right size of species.
Okay. Now, do you go and try to use one of those big mechanical augers that you guys have, the hole drillers? Do you go ahead and pre-drill some holes, or all the holes, or a few holes for bigger trees, or you're going to pretty much come out here get a shovel and start digging away in regular ground?
It's a good question, Steve. This is an exercise in training people on how to appropriately plant trees. So we pre-dig these holes with an auger and our city staff, and really loosen up the soil. We want this to be an exercise in training, not necessarily in how hard you have to work, or, you know, because when you're talking about the difference between shoveling and brand new ground that hasn't been touched, it's rather challenging, and that's not the goal of the event. The goal of the event is to train, to educate the citizens in proper tree planting, and hopefully have a good time while we're doing it, and not work anybody individually that hard.
Plus, I'm sure once you get people that don't have to put that much effort into it, I mean, coming out can be effort enough. I mean, you're giving up a good part of your day on a nice
That's right.
weekend, but you also get them to kind of build that sense of ownership and pride in your community. And once you start laying out a few trees, you know, with a group like this, maybe you start thinking of other places you can plant trees.
That's exactly right. The goal of this event is to move it around to different parts of the city every year. So, for instance, next fall, October, November, we'll be going to a different part of the city that needs trees desperately.
Okay, so when is Community Tree Day?
Community Tree Day is Saturday, November 8th, from 9 to 12.
Starting at 9 here. If you get a lot of folks here, maybe we get done before 12 o'clock.
That's correct.
But the goal is to be done by 12. Do you need to bring your own shovel?
If they have a shovel, bring a shovel and mark it, or mark your name on it, or a certain color paint. Because, of course, with a couple hundred volunteers, we need a couple hundred shovels.
Right.
So, and some hard rakes, but I'll bring the hard rakes. But if you have a shovel, we would appreciate that. Would help us with our supplies.
Probably a good idea to bring leather gloves too, so you don't get a whole lot of blisters.
Leather gloves is always good, and we're gonna have some bottled water and some on a truck or a golf cart or a gator that's driving around the neighborhood, that's going to be able to go to the different groups and give them water while they're out planting trees.
All right. Well, it sounds like fun. Saturday, November what?
8th
8th, from 9 o'clock, hopefully till noon.
to noon,
Meet here at the Rotary Club, which is at the corner of Rotary and, is this 3rd Street?
Johnston.
Johnston. So if you're on 5th Street, just turn on Rotary and come back. You'll see the Rotary building, and you'll have the tents set up as well.
That's correct.
All right, what phone number can people call for more information, and do they need to sign up ahead of time?
My phone number is 329-4531, and they don't need to sign up ahead of time. If they want to drop me an email and tell me they're coming, great. But we're not really prepared for a pre-registration process, so just show up. We'll find you a place to go and a group to get with.
Outstanding. Kevin,
Great.
thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.